Jeez.
We are here for Music City Unsigned, another episode of Music City Unsigned with the artist formerly known as Chris Brown, who now on MySpace is going by Tofer Brown.
Yes,
Welcome.
sir. Thank you. It's
What
great
is,
to be here.
What is up with this name change?
I mean, okay, there's an R&B star named Chris Brown, and I had myspace.com/Chris Brown for about a year and a half or two, and I released 2 independent albums as Chris Brown, and then MySpace came out, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. Then all of a sudden, I started noticing I was getting like buco amounts of plays. I'm like, this is great. It's really picking up, and a year and a half went by, and then like all of a sudden I was going to Belmont at the time. I went over to my friend's apartment. I was like, oh, check my MySpace. That's what we do. And so I went and checked it, and I couldn't log in. And I'm like, oh, it's just an error that airs all the time. Then I went and looked at all my friends. I was in their top friends. Oh, I sound like such a nerd talking about it. I'm like, top friends, top friends.
We all do it.
So I went, and there was a blank spot everywhere. Like my identity had been wiped out. And so I checked my email, and it says, due to copyright infringement, you have been erased.
Copyright infringement of your own name,
Of
right?
my own name. Sorry, Mom and Dad, but you're breaking the law by naming me Chris Brown. But, yeah, so I restarted it because he still had Chris Brown music, so I just restarted it. They deleted everything, like all my contacts, had tons of emails, all the stuff, friends, plays, gone.
The power of MySpace.
The power of MySpace. And so I went and I restarted it. Then about 6 months later, I logged in, and I noticed that my backslash was like my email address, and so conveniently his backslash was Chris Brown. So they went in and they changed it without telling me, and then like a week later they deleted it again. And by that time I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to try to press charges or anything because this is a lost cause. But I reported them to the Better Business Bureau of California, and the next day I got it back, which was rad. But still, I was just like, this is going to be a marketing nightmare. This kid he was like the #1 radio star last year, and it's a lost cause. So Christopher is my full name. So it's still kind of my name, but I feel like I have an alter ego when I go on the stage.
Change your identity.
I become the Tofer. So it's kind of cool, though. It works.
Is it because he was older than you? Or just more popular?
No, he's younger than me.
He's younger than you?
He's like 16.
You had the name first.
17. Yeah, it's so lame. But he's way more popular than I. He's sold millions of records.
Did you get ChrisBrown.com? You didn't get that?
No, that was taken a long time ago. But I have Tofer Brown.
You could have sold that to him for like $1 million.
That would have been rad.
Make a lot of money off that. Well, look, you have 2 million plays. I was going to say, over 2 million friends, 2 million plays on MySpace, 2 million views. Those for you or this other guy?
I mean, it's all me, really.
Yes.
No, I mean, a lot of it is him. I mean, it would be so stupid to say. I mean, it's all my greatness. But, I mean, there was a time when I was getting like 20,000 plays a day.
Wow.
And that was back in the Chris Brown days.
Yeah, hey.
But, I mean, it's cool because it's kind of been free publicity and free exposure. For a while, I was getting probably, 50 emails a day just from people. A lot of hate mail, but, I mean, there were some good messages in there that people liked the music.
Any from like Jessica Simpson or Britney anyway? No?
Unfortunately.
Nothing?
I'm working on that.
I was looking at your diverse influences on MySpace, where I like to hang out too.
Let's talk that.
So we got, here's 4. The Beatles. Danny, you should know this. You probably wrote it, or one of your people. The Beatles, Danny Elfman,
yes.
Wilco, and Sergei Rachman. I always say this wrong. Rachmaninoff.
So great, right?
How do you get those 4 as an example of your influences?
Well, the Beatles, it's kind of a no-brainer. I bought Revolver when I was probably 8 years old and was hooked. It's like cocaine, but I don't do cocaine. I do the Beatles.
I advocate that here.
Let's take that out.
Half of them are dead.
Cut. Okay.
Only 2 alive, anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so the Beatles, great. I mean, the best writers of all time. I mean, when people say they don't like the Beatles, I think they don't like music because they've influenced every band and every artist some way or another.
I would agree.
Who else is on there? Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman.
I love Tim Burton movies, and Danny Elfman, I think, writes the best movie music. That's a goal of mine is to do that, because I studied, this can tie in with Rachmaninoff, I studied classical piano for 11 years, and at one point I was doing composition classes and writing and notating and doing all that stuff, and then I started writing songs and kind of veered away from that, but classical music is probably my longest inspiration, and Rachmaninoff, all his piano concertos and everything is just the most beautiful music ever.
You ever want to write a classical piece like Elvis Costello did recently, his ballet?
I mean, I've written a lot of classical stuff. I've never really scored it or had any place perform, but in computers and stuff, I've kind of done that. And I do a lot of my string arrangements and stuff with my producer. So
cool.
And then Wilco, they're great.
They're Wilco.
Jeff Tweedy's awesome.
And a gas station, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where it came from, a gas station. We're going to talk about. Why don't you introduce us to the first song you're going to play, which is "Someone to Love."
"Someone to Love." That was actually, we were getting ready to release this EP. I went on this 2-week tour or so this summer, and I had been recording for about a year, but nothing was put into sell-worthy product. So I was like, I gotta get something on the road rather than my old Chris Brown CDs, which that was way too confusing to explain to people. And so I was talking to the producer I work with, Pete Kibley, and I was like, we gotta get this. I was leaving in like 3 weeks. And so we started getting all these other 4 or 5 songs together. And I'd been working on this song. I just was writing with a friend of mine, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. And it was the last thing we recorded, but I played him just what we had. We literally recorded it, and I finished writing it about a week before I left on the road. We got it recorded, mixed, and mastered, and into the CD. So it's just kind of a newer one, but I really like it.
It's extremely catchy.
Oh, thanks.
Those 3-minute pop songs. We're going to hear it now.
1, 2, 3, 4. Walking down a cold road, no one to call my own. There's gotta be a reason for why I'm alone. I just want someone to love. I just want someone to hold. And if there's someone to love, I hope it's someone I know. I've known a lot of girls, but there's only been one in my dreams. I'm kinda scared to wake up, 'cause when I'm awake, I'm just me. 'Cause if there's someone to love, and if there's someone to hold, I hope it's someone I see. I hope it's someone I know. I didn't want to fall, but it's already done. I'm letting go of holding on. I wonder if you're feeling the same way as I do. 'Cause if there's someone to love, I hope that someone is you. Oh. Got a funny feeling that the feeling I'm feeling is right. And I'm hoping what you're feeling is the feeling I'm feeling inside. 'Cause you want someone to love, and you want someone to hold. And if there's someone to love, I hope it's someone you know. I didn't want to fall, but it's already done. I'm letting go of holding on. Wonder if you're feeling the same way as I do. 'Cause if there's someone you love, I hope that someone can hold my hand and hold my heart and love me to the end. Love. I just want someone to love. I just want someone to hold. And if there's someone to love, I hope it's someone I know. Didn't want to fall, but it's already done. I'm letting go of holding on. I wonder if you're feeling the same way as I do. 'Cause if there's someone to love, I hope it's someone is you. Oh, if there's someone to love, I hope that someone